So 4 years ago, my grandfather he fell from like a cerebral infarction, and he has been receiving rehabilitation since then. And then he's got treatments such as treatments for diseases like terminal prostate cancer at the very same time.
Mhm.
So he was very weak, and like we didn't know what would happen to him. But then so because he was already very weak, the family, including my mother, decided not to undertake chemotherapy because we didn't know what would happen to him. And since then, since that decision, it has been 2.5 years. So they wanted to try out different things, and then the doctor actually advised to stop taking the anti-cancer medicines just to see what's going to happen. And then it was this March that the doctor would check up to see how the cancer numbers would be without the cancer medicine. And that was where my mother found an amazing experience with the Violet Tarot meditation.
Oh,
Mhm.
that's what I want to hear about.
Yeah. So my mother has been practicing the Violet Tarot 1 meditation since last winter. She has been practicing it for a longer time, but then she's concentrated it more strongly since last winter. And during that process, she saw two scenes. One was a scene that she was talking to her sisters about her father's cancer. The conversation was very upset, and it wasn't a good news for the family. But then she found herself very satisfied that she's communicating with others, that she can really communicate well with her sisters just because of this gloomy news. And then she saw another scene where everyone was so happy because the results turned out to be very good and the numbers were very normal. But then she saw herself very not that satisfied or not that happy because she doesn't find that communication. So by looking at these, she kind of realized that she kind of always consistently wanted to communicate with others on behalf of the idea that there's a gloomy news or there's something very unhappy or negative. And this, with that topic, she could really talk to others and communicate and be connected to others. And she found that, well, that was what I have been doing for the past like among almost 50 years. And so through self-observation, she kind of looked at this herself, and then she tried to delete the negativity, and then instead chose the spiritual, chose what is God. And she kind of affirmed it to herself that she is complete as God's child, and she's one with God, and she is love herself through the Violet Tarot meditation. Yeah, and that was her experience.
That is beautiful.
Mhm.
And so what kind of meditation she did, just like it's in the book there?
Yeah, so she's told me that she used what's in the I am the Violet Terra. Yeah, meditation number one. Mhm.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what happened with her father?
So ultimately, the numbers turned out to be very normal. He went back to the non-cancer stage numbers. So that was a miracle, the doctor said, because his cancer was actually pretty bad. But then all of a sudden, with no really clear explanation, his numbers went back to normal. So yeah.
That's fantastic.
Mhm.
That makes me feel good because to see the Violet Tara working,
Yeah.
that's great. Is there anything else that she would like to say about the Violet Tara practice?
I'll ask her. 어머, 이거 말고. So she actually wanted me to share that in Korea there has been a study group who studies the Violet Tarot meditation and the I am, including herself. And for the past 6 months, they've been studying the Violet Tarot meditation number one and two alternatively. And recently they have been going through a lot, and they've seen a lot of changes within themselves, and they saw that this is actually working, and that the Holy Spirit is in action, and then they can really feel it from on their experiences, and they could see that. Yeah. Oh, and they have also been doing self-observation skills of I am Divila Terra. So she kind of feels that she herself is being cleansed and purified by the practice. Yeah.
Yes, that's true.